The United States is the best place in the world to be, but even though we're the richest country in the world, many people are still poor in their mindsets. What's up everybody, I am Jaspreet Singh from theminorityMindset.com, where money minds rethink rich. My family is from a state in India called Punjab, and Punjab, or the whole country of India, is very different than the United States. Like at our family home in Punjab, we don't have running water and electricity 24 hours a day. The water gets shut off at around 11 a.m. and then it comes back around 2 or 3 p.m. and then sometimes it goes out in the evening again. And so you don't have running water all day long. You don't have electricity all day long. And so when it's 110 degrees outside and when it's so humid that you feel like you can cut the air with a knife, you don't have AC. It's a very different lifestyle over there, and it's very hard for someone to become very successful because you have a lot of government regulations which restrict you from doing that. If you live in a first world country, you can understand what I'm saying and you have access to technology which lets you watch this video, then you are blessed. You have everything that you need in order to become successful. I guess the only thing you need besides that is the right mindset, because if you have these things, if you have the ability to watch this video, if you have the technology to watch this, and you live in a first world country where you have the ability to do that, well, now that with the right mindset gives you everything you need if you want to become successful. But sometimes we don't realize how good we have it. I was at the furniture store a couple weeks ago picking up some stuff, and the salesperson was really cool. I got to know him. Before he was a salesperson, he used to be a teacher, and he was talking to me about how kids don't realize how good they have it here, because he was telling me how the students were given books and school supplies, and if they didn't have money, they were given lunch, and they were given assistance and tutoring. All these things were given to them, but he felt like a lot of kids just didn't take advantage of it, and according to him, everyone just kept complaining, including the kids' parents. This was interesting because my dad would give me the same talk all the time, because when he grew up in India, they had very little, and so he would always talk about how spoiled I am in America because I have clothes, I have shoes, I have all these things. And so the salesperson from Liberia was telling me that when he was in school, and even now, he's like, the kids weren't worried about books, they weren't worried about all this stuff. All they wanted was a pair of shoes, because he was going to school barefoot because his family couldn't even afford shoes for him. The United States of America is not perfect. We have issues. Racism exists. We have systemic issues. Our education system has issues. But at the same time, we are the richest country in the world, and yet many times we use this as kind of like a smokescreen to create excuses as to why we cannot become successful, because we weren't given some extra thing. People are so rich in America that they are literally drowning in debt. Like, people have so much money that they have the ability to go into debt to buy the newest AirPods. They have the ability to go into debt to buy the newest iPhone. They have the ability to go into debt to buy some Lululemon leggings. They have the ability to go into debt to buy a brand new Tesla. We have the ability to own all these nice things which make us look rich and feel cool, and we have the ability to buy that, but it's keeping so many people broke at the same time, because we have so much money that we're just using it to buy all these things without really understanding what this money is. One thing that's always been so crazy to me is we have people from around the world literally risking their lives to come to this opportunity, because the United States is the land of opportunity, and yet you have people here in this country that are complaining because they feel like they weren't given something, while other people from around the world are literally willing to risk their life to be here to have the same opportunity. People can be so rich in the United States that the thing that bugs us is how many likes we got on Instagram. Here's the thing, the way the United States economic system works is if you are willing to put in the work, you can live an amazing life. It doesn't matter what background you come from, it doesn't matter where in the world you come from, it doesn't matter what you look like. If you are willing to put in the work, you have the opportunity to succeed. If you are not willing to put in the work, you won't. The way that the salesperson from Liberia put it is that America is the poorest rich country in the world. We are so rich in this country that we have the ability to complain and find issues in petty things because we're so rich. And so we have the ability to complain about things that are really not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of the world, but because we're so rich here that we can find issues in things that people on the other end of the world could never imagine. That doesn't mean that the United States is perfect. I mean, the United States has things that it needs to work on. Like, we have to work on our racism issue. We have to work on our healthcare system. We have to work on our education system. We have to work on our systemic poverty issue. These are things that our country has to work on. But overall, this is the best place in the world to be if you are willing to put in work. And I think part of the problem here is our kind of culture and system, the way it works, because we live in this fast food culture where when we have a problem, we want an immediate solution. And when you want an immediate solution, what do? Well, we try to find a cure to our symptoms instead of trying to actually fix the root cause of the problem. If you go to the doctor right now and they do a checkup on you and they check your blood pressure and they say, ooh, you got some pretty high blood pressure. Here's some medication that you can take to bring your blood pressure back down. What they're doing right now is they are treating the symptoms. They're not treating the underlying cause. They're not treating the issue that you've been eating at McDonald's 4 days a week. They're not treating the issue that you're sitting on your butt all day, every single day. They're not treating the issue that you're not going to the gym. Right? Because it's easier to treat the symptoms than it is to actually treat the root cause of the problem. Because when someone goes into the doctor, they got high blood pressure, they got issues, what's the doctor going to do? They're going to give you some pills to help treat the symptoms, to give you an immediate cure. Now, this might seem a little bit crazy, but how come when you go into the doctor and they find out you have high blood pressure, they don't hook you up with a nutritionist and they don't require you to get a trainer and go to the gym 3, 4, 5 times a week to get healthy? That way now you're working on your diet and you're working on the gym, and maybe you need some medication too with that, but now you're at least working to fix the root cause of the problem instead of just trying to treat the symptoms. Well, there's a couple reasons why this doesn't happen. First end is the consumer side of things, because consumers want an immediate fix, right? It's the fast food culture where we're not willing to put in the work or wait a long time to see the results that we want, and so it's much easier to just take a pill. And the flip side is getting you to eat healthy and go to the gym is not as profitable as keeping you on pills for the rest of your life. Plus, your insurance company is not going to cover your gym membership and your nutritionist and your trainer, but they will cover your pills, or at least a portion of it. It's not just healthcare. If you go to a bank and you open an account and now you get a credit card and you spend too much money and you spend more money than you have in your bank account, what's going to happen? Well, the bank is going to slap you with an overdraft fee. If you do it again, your bank's going to give you another overdraft fee. Maybe they're going to charge you a little bit more. If you do it again, they're going to give you another overdraft fee, right? It's just overdraft fee after overdraft fee after overdraft fee. And then if you start spending money on your credit card that you don't have, well, the bank is then going to slap you with a 15% interest rate, or 20% depending on what your credit card is. And so when you do things wrong with money, then you got to pay a fine instead of being educated. I mean, if I was king of the world, I'm not, but if I was king of the world, what I would propose is that if somebody gets an overdraft fee or if somebody gets behind on their credit card, they should be required to go through a financial education curriculum. That way they understand how to be better with their money. Like, I got a ticket a few years ago, and when I got this speeding ticket, I had to go through like a 3 or 4 hour class on driver's training. That way I could get these points removed off of the record, and that way I can get this ticket erased. But when I was speeding like 5 or 7 miles over the limit, I had to go through a full driver's training class. But when somebody now is risking their financial life by spending too much money or spending money they don't have, they don't get any of that financial education. They just keep getting slapped with more fines and more fees. And even if you don't require these classes, at least give people the option to waive an overdraft fee if they take a financial education class. These are things that I don't like about the system. But this is where you have to be educated yourself. That way you can take care of yourself, because if you understand what's going on, you can take care of yourself much better than the majority of people. You know what? While we're on this topic, let me give you one more example about schooling. Because the way our school system works, which is very outdated, it's kind of like a factory, right? You go to school, you sit in this classroom for 8 hours a day, and then after these 8 hours, you leave, and you're taught to like just do assignments, do specific tasks that the teacher gives you. But we're not really taught to be creative. We're not taught to think. We're taught to just do specific tasks. And it trains people to just do tasks. And then what do you see happen? You see every single president, Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. Every single president talks about how they're going to bring manufacturing back to the United States, which doesn't really make sense. Why do you want to bring manufacturing back when we can use our brains much better than just putting a disk inside of a box? We have the brains and the technology to train robots to do that. We don't need people to do that, because us people are capable of so much more, but a lot of us are not taught how to kind of unlock this potential and unleash this potential, because we're all taught to kind of think small. Look, this is not me hating on the manufacturing industry. I have family and friends that work in factories. I understand that there's a need, because this is what people understand how to do. But at the same time, if we're thinking about the future generation, if we're thinking about the future of our economy, because our economy is getting old, and if we want to stay the dominant force in the world, we have to start being innovative, and we have to start training people to be innovative. Because why would you want to expend your resources in this country when you could pay somebody else on the other end of the world a third absurd to do the exact same job, or you could just train a robot to do that. We have to start training ourselves here to be more innovative, to create more value, to do bigger things instead of just the same old things that we've been doing for the last century. This is where you can kind of start to decipher what's going on here, because yes, we have this very rich country, but at the same time, many people are not educated on how to take advantage of our system in this country, because we're taught using our old education system that we've been doing for the past centuries, which is becoming outdated today. We have so much opportunity that's ripe and waiting to be seized. And this is where you have to break away from the majority thinking and find it for yourself, because unfortunately, this is not what we're taught how to do. But the reality is, if you keep following the traditional path of complaining about the things you don't have, of just living in debt for your whole life, making everybody else around you rich, you're just going to be a pawn in this system. I don't want you to be like that. I want you to break away from that. I mean, that is why we call ourselves the minority mindset, because I want you to start thinking different. I want you to see the opportunity, because yes, we have a ton of opportunity. Then I want you to learn how to seize it. This is where education comes in. Financial education is a big part. That's what we talk about all the time on our YouTube channel, which is why if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure you do that. But also just understanding where the opportunity is, right? And so you have to understand what's going on and how to capitalize on it, because we have more opportunities here than anywhere else in the world. But you need to first understand that these opportunities exist, and then you got to figure out how to seize it. If you enjoyed this video, here's a video on habits that keep people poor that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, download our free money management PDF. And as always, keep hustling. This one works most effectively when you couple it with number 5, financial education. But some people are going to work 2 or 3 jobs, and they're going to bust their butt, and they're not going to spend any money